Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and today we're going to be doing a video where I rank all of the video games I own on my Switch. I'm not counting games that Chris has bought me on the PS5 or PS4 or the Xbox games that I play because those are all free-ish. Anyway, it's all the games that I have either bought myself or bought with they have a point system on the Switch, which when you buy games, it gives you a certain amount of points and you can redeem those points for money off of your games, and I buy cheap games that way for free. So a lot of these games I didn't actually pay for, and some of them I got for Christmas. I got like 3 or 4 games for Christmas from a friend, things like that. They're all on the list, and this will be a little bit shameful because some of these games I regret buying, and I feel like, I don't know, I just don't know why I bought them. Or I got them and they were bad, but this is going to be me ranking all of my games. These rankings are my opinion. They're based off of how much I paid for them, so not the full retail price. So if I got them on sale, I am putting the sale into account, or if I manage to get them for free, that's going to be taken into account, like how much value I get out of the game, how much I've played them, how much I plan on playing them. All of those things are going to be taken into account, as well as there's some games that I'm going to rank quite low that are good games, that are like objectively good games that I know I do not like. It's all based on my personal opinion, and I'm not ranking how good the games are. Hi guys, I'm just going to read you off everything but the top 10 and not talk about it in too much detail. If you want to know about these games, you can Google them, or you can leave a comment down below asking me to talk specifically about certain games or go over those games in more detail like I'm about to do for my top 10, but I'm just going to read you off my list so far. So if you know them, you can be mad at me. So my worst game is Old Man's Journey. It's basically a phone game. Why is it on the Switch? Don't know. Don't like it. 34 is Later Daters. I thought it was a complete game. It wasn't a complete game. I'm still butthurt about it. 33 is Golf Story. A lot of people really like Golf Story. I did not. 32 is 60 Seconds. I thought I would like it more than I did, and I have better games. I just do. Scribblenauts is 31. It's a kid's game, but I thought it would be stupid and fun, and you know, it wasn't that stupid or fun. It is what it is. I regret buying it. 33 is Super Mario Wii for the Switch. I got it for free, and it still wasn't worth it. 29 is Pokemon Shield. It's an $80 game, and it doesn't feel like an $80 game. Every other game I own is better than it. Sorry. That's not true, but like, for $80, not worth it. Sorry. My boyfriend likes it though, so like, you can like it, that's fine. The Deer God is 28. It should be a mobile game. Switch, get mobile games off the Switch. What are you doing? Have better quality control, holy shit. Give me a second. 27 is Rains Down Players. It was pretty good, but I never finished it, and I have no real desire to finish it. 26 is Rain City. It's a point-and-click adventure. The demo is better than the actual game itself, and it's very confusing. I am not mad I played it, but I am not happy I played it either. It's pretty meh. Cooked Served Delicious is a good game, but it's at 25 because it's just not as much fun as actually line cooking for me. Too many buttons. Just too many buttons. Not enough fun. If you like button mashy games, you might like it though. Then we go from 25 to 24, which is a game called OTTTD. It is a tower defense game is the name I was looking for. It's a tower defense game, but it's not the most fun tower defense game I've ever played in my life. It was cheap though. Then we have 23, which is Bury Me My Love, which if I got it on the phone, it would be way up there. But it is a phone game, and more importantly, it glitched out on me. You're supposed to be able to play it multiple times in a row and get different endings. I couldn't do that. it glitched out after my first ending, and now I can't play it again. I think if I delete it and then re-download it, I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. It's a lot of time and effort, and I just don't want to. But if it actually worked, it would be much higher up on my list. 22 is a game. It's another point and click adventure called The Adventures of Bertram and Fiddle, and it was all right. It was meh. That's why it's in the meh category. 21 is Coffee Talk. The story is good. The game mechanics are kind of boring. I don't know. I just don't like the actual game mechanics themselves as much, and I feel like I don't have as much agency as I'd like, but the story is definitely interesting, and I'm not done it, so this might change in the ranking depending on how the game progresses. Death Road to Canada is number 20. It is a good game, but it is not as good as my other games. Now we're getting into games that I actually really enjoy. None of these games are games that you would be upset if you bought. They're all good from here on out. So we've got, I need to look for 19. The Jackbox Party Pack 7. It's pretty good. The drawing game in that is the best one. All the others are either I haven't played them yet or they're meh. So that's why it's at the bottom of this list. But that drawing game is so much fun. Oh my god. 18. Where's 18? Florence. It's too short. It's fun. The mechanics are really interesting and cool. And I love to see like artsy games, but it's too short. It just is too short. 17 is Little Big Workshop. I really like this game. I have nothing really bad to say about it. Just not my favorite. Really good game. It's a management game, by the way. 16 is No Time to Relax. It's a really good game. It is a board game style game. It's kind of like the Game of Life, but better. I don't really like the Game of Life, but I really like this game. The only problem I have with No Time to Relax is that how do I say this? The mechanics are quite simple, so you can't play it over and over and over again the way you can play other games. It's more of a game you break out at parties or at Christmas with your family or on date night or whatever. You break it out every once in a while to play it, and you have a good time, but you can't play it over and over again, and I kind of want that in a game. Then we go on to 15, which is Stardew Valley. Sorry. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with this, but I, right now, don't like Stardew that much. I find it gets kind of dull after a while, and I know other people don't feel that way, and I'm going to actually put it into my project play for next month, I think, and I'm going to try my best to take other people's advice and play it more and like love on it, and so the ranking of this might change, but for now, for how I've played it so far, it's only number 15. Again, I like all these games though in this category. 14, Project High Rise. Wow, it's great. It's a great game. I have nothing bad to say about it. You build a high rise and it's quite fun. Where are we? 13, Glee. Glee is a good game. It's a platformer. Unlike the games that I put into the shit game category, it's quite good. It's story based. It's very emotional, but it does have like some platforming elements. It is a game. It's not a mobile game, like it's meant to be on a system, which I love, and it's really beautiful. And some people might find it vague, but for me, it was a really beautiful message about growth and change after something traumatic and how hard that can be. And it's just a game every once in a while when I'm feeling shit, I think about it and it makes me feel strong. And I love that. Forager is number 12. You play a little dude with a pickaxe. It's delightful. It's just a delightful game. It's very grindy, I'd say is the word, but fun grinding. There's just lots to do, and it's a great little game if you need to kill 6 hours. Because you can absolutely play it for 6 hours without realizing, and I've put a lot of time into it, and I really enjoy that game. 11 is Don't Starve. Again, sorry, it almost got into my top 10. I feel like maybe it deserves top 10. I just don't play it as much as I thought I would play it. I keep getting it on different consoles. Even before I had the Switch, I got my boyfriend to buy it for me on console, and I really like it. I just don't play it as much as I feel like I should. I don't gravitate towards it the way I should, but maybe this Project Play will help me do that. So now we're going to go into my top 10 games, and I'll take you back to regular, non-editing me. Bye! Top 10, let's go before I start hating this. So, my number 10 game is a game called... It's called Ding Dong XL. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Chris, stop laughing. Chris, stop it. Chris is my boyfriend's name, in case you are not, in fact, Chris. He is one of the only people who always watches my streams and always watches my videos. I hope he watches this one. It's about video games, so I imagine he should. Anyway, Chris and I played this game a lot together. It is one of the few games that he genuinely enjoys playing. It is also a $2 phone game, and I have railed on phone games in this very video and how the Nintendo store should get phone games off of their game, except this one actually makes sense to have on the Switch. It could be played on a phone, but the widescreen does help because this game is basically a screen and you have this little ball and you have to make it go to the top and the bottom over and over and over again, and it's all neon and there's things flying by, so the extra screen space allows you to see things going past better. It is a phenomenal $2 game. It does not feel like a $2 game. It has a point. It said, we want to be like a little cute tap game, but we're going to make it perfection. And they did. They have different modes. They have a mode where you do it single player. They have a mode where you can do it with another person. Like I said, I do play it with Chris a lot. They have an infinite mode. There's a bunch of different little balls you can be, and like every time it breaks apart, it breaks into a million pieces. There's one where it's like a dog's face, and then when it breaks apart, it breaks into a bunch of little hot dogs. And the visuals are glorious and neon, and the sounds are so good, and they just feel good. And it's clearly like a phone-esque game. It's a simple game, but it is done so well. It's just a simple $2 game done to perfection, and I love that. I could not put it any higher because it is literally a $2 game, and like, it's simple. It's so simple, but I did have to put it in my top 10 because it is wonderfully executed, and that just matters to me, apparently. I just want a game that's like, it does what it sets out to do. It is priced according to its value, and it really is. It's $2 and it's great. It's given me multiple hours of entertainment, and my boyfriend will actually play with me, which I love. And it's such a good game, and I love it, and I'm happy to have it in my top 10. Sorry, Don't Starve, you probably deserve this spot, but yo, for $2, so good. Next, 9 is Bug Fables. Bug Fables, unlike Ding Dong XL, it is an exceptional task to take on. It is an old school Paper Mario RPG styled game. The original creators, I believe, intended it to be in the old Thousand Year Door style of Paper Mario. So it has all of those mechanics, it has all the paper elements, except you're playing as bugs. You play as the 3 bugs. There's V, there's a bee, and there's another bug that goes underground, and a beetle. I don't know their names. It's been a while since I've played this, but each of them has separate mechanics. So the bee has a boomerang, and there's like an ice creature who has ice powers, and then the beetle is like a tank and hits real hard, and it's just so fun. I'm not done. I mean, I finished the game story like that. Like, sometimes I get into games and then I just like kind of forget about them, but this one I play start to finish. I didn't play anything else. I didn't want to play anything else. There are parts of this game that are hard to play. Their mechanics aren't the best. It just doesn't feel quite right in certain areas, especially with the boomerang. In like the second area, doesn't feel that good. It just doesn't feel that good, to be honest. But I wanted to keep playing even though the mechanics in that part annoyed the hell out of me, because it's so good. It's so charming. It's such a big world. It just really reminds me of like the Thousand Year Door, that feeling I got when I hung out with my cousin and he like played the Thousand Year Door and we hung out together and I like told him what to do and he did the mechanics and we just had a really lovely time and I fell in love with this big world. It's so beautiful. There's so much to do. There's so many like mini games and little side quests you can do, and I want to go back in and do them all. I want to 100% this game at some point, but it was so much fun. It was a $40 game. I sunk 40 hours into it very quickly, and like, I know $40 for an indie game seems like maybe a lot, but the new Paper Mario game is $80, and I don't think I would like it as much. Whereas this, I had a lot of fun with the combat. I had fun with every element of it, and it was half the price. So, like, you know? And I'm supporting indie, and I love that. So it's just a really, really good game. The story is really sweet. It's kind of simple, but it's, like, intriguing a little bit. One of the characters you play as lost their memory, and I don't know, it's that each character has their own subplots and they have their own stuff going on and their own backstories that you learn in the later parts of the game. They have their own histories that they don't want to tell each other, and there's like dynamics between all three of them, and there's dynamics between each of them and the people in the world around them, and it's just like a beautiful world, and I just love this game. It's really good. If you liked Thousand Year Door and the old Mario games, you're probably gonna like this. It's just full of charm and love, and it's really good. And despite the fact that there's a few flaws with the game, there definitely are a few flaws with the game, I think it's really worth your money. It was really fun. I just really love this game. Number 8 is a game called Darkest Dungeon, and this is dark. Go figure. So this is a game where you manage a creepy estate in an otherworldly sense. I think the backstory is that your character dug up an ancient artifact under his rich people mansion, and it transported him to a weird world with monsters, where monsters had invaded his home and everything around him. And so he is the manager of this estate, and you get new fighters. You improve your barracks, you equip them with relics that help them in ways, you boost stats, and then you go off and you prepare a backpack with materials, and you pick 4 of your fighters, and they each has different slots that they can use abilities in. You can change their abilities out and their loadouts, you can improve their weapons and their stats, and they level up and things like that. And you go on a quest and you fight these monsters, and it's a very slow turn-based combat system, and it is very heavy thinking. It's a thinking game. And what I love about this game is that it's chocked full of ambiance. Like, you really feel transported into this deep, creepy, kind of Cthulhu-esque world of dark horrors. It's extremely hard, but it feels fair. I'm not the best at video games, and I got this quite early onto my life of the Switch. It was one of the first games I got. I think it was like the 4th game I got, maybe. So I wasn't great. And the controls are a little bit wonky. People will tell you that on Switch the controls are wonky. So I might consider getting it on a different console if you have one, but I did get used to, and I have to fix my hair. I am used to the controls now. I've played it enough that I am used to it. The reason it's so low on this list actually is just because I paid $50 for it, which for me included all the DLC that they have in the game. So it is an expensive game, and a lot of the other games on this list are either slightly more expensive, like your $80 Nintendo games, your Animal Crossings, but a lot of other games are like $10, $15, $30, and I just think for the price point, they're such good value, whereas this one is absolutely worth $50. Like, it's worth $50, but some of the others are like, how is this so cheap? Whereas this one is like, yes, that's a reasonable price for this game. It's just very good. It's very difficult. So you have to think really hard about everything. And I don't know, I really love that. The ambiance is incredible. I like feeling smart, and I feel like every time I get somebody killed, it feels earned because, you know, there is randomness to this game. There's statistics. You know, everything has a certain percent chance of hitting or missing, those kind of things. But it always feels like the game is fair. You know, it always feels like I could have done something better or thought it out more. And I could have won. I had all the things at my disposal, and I just wasn't smart enough or clever enough to win, and I'm gonna try again and again and again until I get it right. And you keep losing people and recruiting new people, and it's just a fucking good game. I don't know what else to say. It's just a really good game if you like some dark, morose game with a lot of charm, a lot of dark horror elements. It's dark, creepy vibes. And I really like it. It's just good. It's just a very fucking good game. Number 7 on my list is a game called Dicey Dungeons. It's one of my newer games, and that's why it's so low, because I haven't finished it. So I, you know, obviously don't have the experience with it that I have with some of these other games, but I've really fallen in love with it. It's charming. It's fun. It's sweet. It's another thinking game. You play as a dice. There are several different dice, and each dice has different mechanics. And you play as these dice, and you also roll dice, and you use those dice in cards to attack other the creatures you're fighting. It's a very thoughtful game, and then they get their turn. So you do your turn first, and then they get their turn. And some of the cards will be like, you have to have a 5. You have to roll a 5 to use this card, or you have to use an even die, or you have to use an odd die, or you can't use a die that's more than a 3 or under a 4. And so you collect all these cards in your backpack, and you also have a loadout. So every turn you can switch different things in and out. Some enemy, there's like status effects, burn, all that kind of stuff. And you can switch them out. So if you have an enemy that you see and you know from another run you've played that is weak to ice, you can, or weak to fire, you can put fire into your hand and then do extra damage and then take it out right after if you want. So you can change out the loadout. Between each fight, you gain health. It's just a really fun game. It's stupid and charming. My dice turned into a bear, and I will never forget that. I mean, I got to play as a bear dice for an entire game, and I just love that stupid shit. It's really good. It's not quite as thinky as Darkest Dungeons. It's not as hard. It is quite hard. It just isn't quite as, you know, it's more roguelike in that you do a run and then you fail faster. Whereas Darkest Dungeon is a very long, intense, like, you're gonna keep playing that one save file for a very long time. Dicey Dungeons is like a quick, you get in, you either win or you die trying, and then you can go again and again and again. So it doesn't quite take as much of my brain power to play it, and it's just really fun. I really like it. The next game on my list, number 6, is Breath of the Wild. Sorry, I know a lot of people, at least especially back in the day, would put Breath of the Wild as their number 1, and it is a fabulous game. I'm sure you guys all know about Breath of the Wild, but I just don't like the combat in it that much, and that might be because it was my literal first game on the Switch. So I wasn't very good at using the controls, so if I went back now and played it, and I might go back sometime soon, I'm definitely going to go back sometime this year during Project Play to play it, and maybe I'll start over with it. But if I knew the controls better and liked fighting a little bit more, I'm sure this would be further up for me. And also if I had played it more recently, I'm sure it would be further up for me. But right now, as it stands, I really like indie games. I really, really like indie games. And it's Breath of the Wild. Like, it's great, but I love indie games. I'm just, the things I really like about this game are the exploration, are the, like, finding things, shrines, and doing the towers and all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, if there had been, I don't know, the truth of the matter is, I watched somebody play this game, like, to completion, years before I ever owned a Switch. So when I went into Breath of the Wild, I already knew everything that was going to happen, and I think that kind of ruins the magic. I think it's the kind of game where you should play blind. So if you've never watched anyone play Breath of the Wild, don't. Play it yourself if you have the money and you can do that. I would recommend going into it blind, because some of the magic just wasn't there for me, because I already knew all the, like, beautiful cutscenes and all the, mysteries. I was going around and I was like, oh, I know where we are. I know how to find this thing. And I think that kind of ruins that adventure part of the game for me. And I think that's why it's so low, honestly. The next game, which is also going to shock people, is Animal Crossing's number 5. It's not my favorite game. I play it the most, that's for sure. But the thing about Animal Crossing is it's a little hard for me to decipher the difference between whether or not I like the game itself, or if how much do I love it because of the game itself, and how much do I love it because of the community, because I love the community. I have a whole Instagram account for my island. Like, I'm that kind of girl, and I found so many people on Twitch who I love to watch play through Animal Crossing. So in quarantine, and I got it during quarantine, and it's really helped me get through quarantine and that kind of stuff. But how much of that really is Animal Crossing itself, and how much of that is the community? And really, at the end of the day, I think that a lot of it really does have to do with the community. They're delightful. Y'all are delightful. I love the community so much. It's so welcoming and kind, mostly, and lovely, mostly. It's delightful, mostly. But there are a lot of problems I have with the game itself, and if you want to see a video of me complaining about Animal Crossing, leave it down below. But it's the same complaints everybody has. Like, I'm sure we all know the complaints. Why can't I craft multiple things at a time? Why can't I buy multiple tops at the same time? If I want a top in every color, I have to go back in that fucking stall 7 times if they have 7 different colors. That's stupid. Why is it that way? And I know Nintendo well enough to know they're not going to fix it. Also, when people thought that CJ and Flick were gay, they went out of their way to say that they were not gay. They didn't say gay. Nintendo doesn't say the word gay. But they went out of their way to imply that they weren't gay. They were like, oh, they're just roommates. They're just business. Oh, they're just business partners. You could have just said nothing, Nintendo. You didn't have to say anything. You could have said nothing. You could have let us have this. You didn't even have to confirm it. You could just let us have this. And yet you didn't. And also, when you build, I am going to harp on the building. A game like Stardew Valley, which is $15, they have the wherewithal, they have the common sense to put in a system where when you are watering your crops, you can have a little red square that shows you which crops you're going to water. Does Animal Crossing have that for its terrain building? No. And so do you know what ends up happening? Yes, you absolutely do if you play the game. You try and build in one spot and you think you're facing it perfectly. And actually you just destroyed the cliff next door. Or you build a cliff where you didn't mean to, so then you have to do an extra button control to delete that cliff and put it somewhere else. And the game is filled with a bunch of useless button clicks that, for the record, Nintendo is going to say, and fanboys and fangirls are going to say, that maybe not Animal Crossing ones, because I know we all have these complaints, but a lot of people will try and tell me that they do this because Nintendo wants me to believe that it's for the immersion. It is not immersive to have to wait through a load menu in the form of a bunch of conversations. It is not immersive to not be able to buy 12 tops at the same time. Because usually I can buy 12 tops at the same time at a store. Animal Crossing. It's just slow. It just slows the game down. For what? For what? For who? Fix it. You could just fix it. You could just say, you're right, guys. Sorry. Hey, our customers who bought our $80 game, who fund our ability to continue making games. You know what? We don't agree with you, but you are the customer. And something as menial as being able to make, to buy a bunch of different things all at the same time from one shop. You know what? You bought our game, so I think you deserve that basic respect. But no, Nintendo says, we do whatever the fuck we want. We don't care. We'll make good games, but you're always going to have a problem with those games. There's going to be something wrong. And we're never going to fix it, no matter how much you tell us that it's wrong and you don't like it. We're going to insist that you like it and it makes our game better, even though objectively, everyone who bought your game says, no, that doesn't make it better. What are you doing? Nintendo doesn't care. And that's why I cannot put Animal Crossing at number 1. Because there's little things like that that annoy me. And with all these other games, even the games under Animal Crossing, I don't have that. So even though I've put 200 hours into Animal Crossing, I just, in my heart of hearts, I cannot put it at number 1 because the community of Animal Crossing is the best part of Animal Crossing. It is. It is. The community, without the community, this game would be way lower than it is, let's be honest. Without the community, I would not be playing Animal Crossing right now. Without the community, I would have never wanted to buy Animal Crossing at all. I mean, it's a fine game, but like it wouldn't be this high if it wasn't for the community, because the community is delightful, but the game itself is just, it's a game. It's not that great. It's just a video game. Okay. Everything else is going to be positive, I promise. I have a lot of feelings. I just have a lot of feelings about Nintendo. And don't defend corporations in my comments, goddammit, unless you're getting paid to do so. Nintendo can pay someone to defend themselves, okay? You don't need to do it. I don't think anyone's going to watch this who's going to be that upset at me, honestly. I just feel defensive. Anyway, the next game. Number 4. We're in the top 4. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a fucking phenomenal game. Dead Cells is a roguelite. It's a roguelite game. You beat people up. You heal, you get different abilities, you get different weapons, shields, bows, lightning abilities, all that kind of stuff. It's very good. It is a very well-polished game. It is a very well-polished game. There's nothing wrong with the game. There's nothing I would change about the game. It's very well done. It's exceptionally well done. The art style is beautiful. The worlds they created are beautiful. There's someone at my door who I'm sure is beautiful. What am I talking about? Dead Cells. Great game. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just a really, really good game. And I've heard watching it sucks. And I could see that. Because there is a lot going on at the screen at all times. There's things bursting out everywhere. Every time somebody dies, it's just like stuff blowing up. But actually playing the game is so easy. You can see exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. I think Chris is home. It's a delightful game. That's all I have to say. It's a great game. Number 3 is Tangle Tower. Tangle Tower is a great game. It's beautiful. The art direction, beautiful. The music, beautiful. The imagery, beautiful. The character design, beautiful. The voice acting, beautiful. The gameplay, really good. The story, pretty good. But like, wow, is it a beautiful game? It's a 2D game and it's just so beautiful. I played over and over again just to be in that world again. The room design, oh my god. I want a room like that. Every character built up to perfection. Cartoony and delightful. Overdone in the best way. Beautiful game. Love it. Nothing bad to say about it. They have a demo. Go play the demo. You will fall in love. So good. So good. The demo is just like the rest of the game. The demo will tell you everything you need to know. If you don't like the demo, don't buy the game. That's okay. But like, wow. Stunning. Visually, artistically, stunning. Stunning. Love that game. Graveyard Keeper. Wow. Graveyard Keeper is a very big, it's kind of like a much creepier version of, what's the game? Stardew Valley. Less farming based. And less trying to you don't romance anybody in this game. You don't romance anybody. You give them things, you try and make them like you, but it's for your own benefit. You are this random regular dude and you end up in this world that is somewhere in the Middle Ages, one would say, and you end up being a graveyard keeper and you have to deal with dead bodies and you take their organs and their skin and their flesh and turn it into candles and paper, and like I said, it's dark. You cut down trees and mine ore and you build everything yourself. You have to build everything yourself. Everything, all of it. It is, one of the things I like about it over something like Stardew Valley is that I find the difficulty curve in Stardew Valley is like, it's fun, and it's hard, and it's difficult to start your farm, but once you've started your farm, you have like unlimited money. This doesn't have that problem. You never have unlimited money. You never have unlimited resources. You are always struggling to get resources, to get money, to do the next thing, and it gets easier to get all of those things, but the things you need to progress the game, because it is a story-based game, unlike Stardew Valley where it's kind of like, do whatever you want, play it your way. This is like, there's a story, you gotta get shit done. There are things to do. There are definitely different directions you can go in. So you can do more of a money run where you focus on money and you buy all your material instead of making it yourself, or you can make everything yourself and you can like mine a bunch of ore and then turn that ore into, you can mine a bunch of minerals and then turn those minerals into ore and then turn those ore into nails or simple parts and then turn those simple parts into complex parts and then turn those complex parts with the wood that you cut from the forests that you turned into planks that you turned into beams, and you take the beams and you take the simple parts and you turn them into other things, and then you open up different areas and you make gravestones for your church, because eventually you get a church, and then you know, it's grindy, but it's such good grindy. Also, I didn't say Forager is also a grindy game. I like grindy games. As you can tell, a lot of them are very high up on my list. I love to grind, but fun grind. This is a fun grind. It's dark, it's creepy, it's weird, it's a little mystical. There's like otherworldly stuff, there's occult stuff going on. It's like a timepiece, but you're not quite sure when the time is. There's something about burning witches at the stake, and you have to corrupt yourself morally to a bunch of people that you hope will help you find your way back to reality. And you feel like you're in a dream, but it goes on for so long, for so many days and months, and you don't have any concept of time. And there's a little talking skull that tells you how to do things. And I think he was the last graveyard keeper, and that's scary. And it's just, it's like that. It's like it feels like a dream that just doesn't end. Like a creepy, creepy dream that doesn't end. And all these people, sometimes you talk to people and you're like, dude, do you even believe in this? It kind of sounds like you don't even think this is real. But we can't talk about that because then I'll have to be burned at the stake. Feels like everybody's kind of being fake and like nobody really knows what they're doing. They're just kind of doing what they're supposed to, just like you. And you're like, what's going on here? But you keep doing it because there's nothing else to do. You just have to keep going and doing the quests, and it's grindy and delightful, and I love it. Unlike Don't Starve, unlike Stardew Valley, unlike some of the games in my really good category that I love but I don't play enough, this game I play. This game I do not need to be forced to play. This game I don't need to be like, oh right, I should play that and then I played and it's fun. This game I'm like, I want to play this right now. I love this game. It's number 2 for a reason. It's amazing. And it's cheap. I don't remember how cheap, but it's cheap. It's not expensive. It's not an expensive game. I can look for you. I'm going to look. I'm going to tell you how expensive it is. This is going to end up just as long as my other part, but hopefully more entertaining. God, I hope it's more entertaining. Oh, where is it? No. Oh. $15. This game is $15. It's the same price as Stardew Valley. And I love it. If you want a darker, more grindy version of Stardew Valley that's less cute and more just like weird and unnerving, but not horror. There's no horror in it. It's just a little unnerving. If you're into that, it's $15 and it is really good. It's number 2 for a reason, baby. It's number 2 for a reason. My favorite game is Monster Prom. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like other things maybe deserve it more, but I love Monster Prom, and I just, it's so good. It's so fun. There's so many different endings. I play it constantly, and I have so much fun. I love the characters. They're all weird and stupid and quirky. They all have their shtick, but then you get to know them through like 12 different playthroughs, and you realize there's more to them than they seem. So like, you do all these playthroughs, and there's this ghost Polly, and you're like, yeah, she's just the airhead. She likes alcohol and partying, and that's all she is. But then you get these endings with her where you actually do get to go to prom with her, and you learn that she loves chess and she's very good at it. And like, you'll get these little tiny tidbits of information about all of them. There's this demon, Damien the demon, Damien LeVay. He is the prince of the underworld, and he's like all into setting stuff on fire and boldness and being cool as hell. But then you find out, 1, he has 2 dads. Hell yeah, love that. Wish we had... I guess everyone can be gay in this. Everyone can be gay in this. I love Monster Prom. There's this Damien LeVay, and turns out he has 2 dads. But also, he likes doing makeup. He thinks makeup is sick. And like, all the characters secretly have layers and depth, and it's horny as hell. It's such a horny game. It reminds me of me in high school. Horny as hell. All of the monsters are 18 plus, by the way. It's set in a high school, but all the monsters are 18 plus. The youngest one is 19. Okay? They were like, we ain't doing no teenage girls. It's in a high school, but like, it is a monster high school, different rules. It's such a charming game. It's such a charming game. It's so fun to play. I play it by myself because you can play it by yourself and it's still just as fun. But you can also, it's a multiplayer dating sim game. You can play it with other people, and it's so fun to play with other people. If you like dating sim games, you will love this game. It's so horny and weird and quirky and stupid and references like internet culture and furries and all sorts of weird horny shit, and it's dumb and stupid, and I love it. It's so good. Monster Prom is so good. I cannot, it's so good. Anyway, that is my number 1 game. Those are my top 10 games, and before that, all of my other games. Hopefully I like myself in this, because I can't refilm this. I've done this so many times. I can't refilm it. I can't. I won't. This is my list. This is my list. This is my top 10. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this. Bye. I will see you guys next week for my Project 100 uses, which will be updated next week. I have information for you guys. Right now there should be a video over here or over here. You can subscribe to my channel clicking the circle button. You can also watch my latest video clicking whatever video is up right now. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching if you watched all of this, and have a good day. Bye!